Hi YouTube, this is Bonnie with Old Souled Mermaid, and today I am going to start a video series of my deck collection. And I figured I would kind of separate my decks into categories so that the videos wouldn't be too long. So the first video in the series is going to be the best decks for beginners that I happen to own. I don't own every single deck that there is to buy, but these I would view as some definite things to check out if you are new to tarot or looking to learn tarot, or if you know somebody who wants to learn tarot. Excuse me, and maybe there's so much on the market you don't know where to go. So let's start off with the RWS system, the Rider-Waite-Smith system. Now, I have several iterations of the deck with the artwork by Pamela Colman-Smith. It comes in several different colorings. There's been many iterations of Pamela Colman-Smith's artwork, and I have a few, and I will say that I use this deck primarily for classes, and when I was learning tarot, it's like not my favorite go-to pull-out deck that I'm going to use primarily. You know, I have a bunch of other decks that I go for readings for myself, but for study, for taking classes, for learning, especially at the beginning, once you get this system down, you know, there's so many clones, and we'll go into some of those. So the first one that I have, it's a set. It's a book and a deck set. It's Exploring Tarot using the Radiant Rider-Waite, and the artwork has been kind of upgraded by this Avia Venefica. So it's a US Games set. You can buy it at Barnes & Noble. You can buy it off Amazon. It's readily available, and it does come with a really nice book. If you're a beginner, this is like a really nice book, and it comes with a spread. I think it's a Celtic cross that it comes with. Yeah, it looks like a Celtic cross spread. But the book is really good. Full color pictures, as you can see, and it's got questions, prompts to ask, upright and reverse meanings, and all kind of like quick meaning, love, money, career, family for the upright and reverse positions. So if you're just starting, this is a great thing to get, because not only it will, if you learn this, there's good information in this, it will set you up to go to a bunch of other decks that are basically clones of this system. And if you want, it comes with a little white book as well, and I just stick that in here because in the box, it's rather tight. So there's the box. Again, I mentioned it was, I think I opened this from the bottom, US Games. And so you can see some of my decks, you will see, are in order, and some of them are not. So let's get down a little closer. This has a rather medium-sized border, you will see, but there is the coloring. It's really pretty coloring. There is one version that's very garish, and you can see the pretty blue backings. I think this is a favorite of a lot of people because the coloring is softer, but still bright than, I don't know what they call it, the one that comes in with the magician on the cover. But this set is a can't beat for beginners. I mean, the book is wonderful, and it's really nice U.S. Games cardstock. It's just a little bit of gloss. It's just good paper cardstock, and it has the traditional images. I think they've been just tweaked by this other artist. So this would be a great thing to start out with, and it's readily available at a local bookstore, a metaphysical store, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. A really great thing to start out with. And I'm going to put that away and move it off to the side. And the next one, this is kind of a sad little deck I picked up at Half Price Books. Again, it's an RWS, but it is the Universal Weight Tarot deck. And I saw this sitting in the locked tarot cabinet at Half Price Books. And it was so sad. It was just this with a rubber band, and I have edged it because the sides were rather dirty, but it was, I believe, $7, and then it was a 50% off coupon weekend, so I got it for way less than $7, and I thought it was a really, really good deal. So just so you can see the different color iterations. And this is one that I use for travel, and it's not precious because it has been loved before. And there's the backings. Larger stars on this one, navy blue. I like the backings on this. The border isn't quite as big. It's a little bit thinner than the Radiant Rider-Waite. And this is even more muted than the last deck. And you can see the difference. But this, yes, it was a sad little deck sitting in the tarot cabinet. It seemed unloved and unwanted, and I got it. And this is what I use for classes, for taking on the go with me, because it's not precious. It's you know, it has a history. And see, I etched the sides in a blue with just a Sharpie because it was a little bit dingy, but I love it. It had to go to a good home. And then I have, again, and these are choices you can have, you know, because not all the coloring of the RWS, you know, each deck caters to a different consumer user, but this is the borderless based on the Centennial version. It does have a border on the back, but you can see that there's no borders on the front. And I love the very muted coloring, kind of antique-y, tea-stained. Especially you can tell on this Hermit and Wheel of Fortune card how that is. So that is the borderless edition, and it's my favorite one of the RWS. Again, reiterating that the RWS cards aren't the ones, you know, that I go to when I'm at home or reading for others. Some, you know, once in a while I get called to it, but mostly it's for classes and for study. When I'm studying a book, RWS is what you're going to find. The images are what you're going to find in a lot of learn to read tarot books, and that's why it's good to have, if you're a beginner, one of these decks. And I do have one more RWS. It's the one put out by Lo Scarabeo, the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. And this comes in a little fancier box, top off. And it comes with a little, instead of just a little white, you know, pamphlet book, it does come with a little chunky book, but you know, most of it, being Lo Scarabeo, is going to be in different languages. but it is a cute little chunky book. And look at these gorgeous backs. Now these will be a lot, they're very glossy. They're a lot glossier than the others. And see, there's the art cards, and this one's not in order. But you can see the line work it's a little muddier and chunkier than the others. Do you see? You see the black lines? Glossy, super glossy, slippery cardstock. But I love these backs. And I do love the coloring of it, just something a little bit different. So seeing all these RWS decks that I have, I will probably not be buying another one. I have enough. So now we're going to move on to some other decks. So once you get this system down, I'm going to be showing you some decks that you can move on to. Now, and reiterating again, I suggest getting really familiar with the system, because then you can go to move on to so many other decks, clone decks of the system, and it would be easy peasy to just get going with them once you're familiar with the system. I did find another deck at my local half-price books. It's called the Vivid Journey Tarot. Now, if you're really turned off by the imagery of the RWS, it just is not, I don't know, inspiring you. This is another option. I found this at my local, this set. It's a really nice set. It's by Llewellyn. Came out in 2017. It's by Jessica Allaire, the Vivid Journey Tarot. And comes with a book and the deck. You see it's coming a little apart there, but that's okay. It's a very nice set. And this is perfect for beginners because you get some of the art. It is a clone, but it's just more simplified imagery. So you see the Fool is a female, but she's got the white rose and the dog and the hobo's bag, the Magician, the High Priestess. Now I will say this cardstock is the Llewellyn. It's papery. It's a little more papery, not glossy. It's fairly matte. Very thin, but for you riffle shufflers and bridgers, it's perfect to shuffle that way. Oh, and here are the backs. They're kind of cool in purple. But you see how pretty the imagery is. Very simple, uncomplicated. The Lovers, I just love the Lovers. And this couple looks like it could go either way. You know, kind of could be two women, a man and a woman. The Strength card, I just love. These images are so sweet. So if you're not really digging the RWS traditional imagery, this is a great one to go for. And this deck was $7.99 at my local half-price books. I'm in Austin, Texas. And there's many half-price books around me, and there's still a few around. So if you're in the area and you want to start with a great beginner deck, this is a great one to start with. Simple imagery, nice bright colors, but not garish. It comes with a nice book, Tarot Basics, and you know there's a lot on the cards. Even you get a nice amount for the minor arcana with full color pictures for $8, $7.99. You can't beat this, and I can't speak more highly of a deck if you're a beginner and you are wanting to learn the tarot. Trying to do this one-handed. Nice, you know, it comes in that nice big Llewellyn box. And yeah, I'll run down to your half-price books and see if they have this set. Okay, next on the agenda, what do I have on my list? I did write a list. Okay. Morgan Greer. I think it came out in the late 80s. This is a classic. Again, along the lines of that Vivid Journey tarot I just showed you. If you're not digging the Rider-Waite-Smith, I'm going to go down just a little bit. There are the cool backs, classic backs. You are going to love this deck. It's very close up and in your face. It's, you know, the images aren't far away or set in. They are very, very up close and in your face. But it's still got kind of that medieval type feeling as the RWS, just a different depiction of it. And the cardstock is really nice. It's kind of rose petally. Again, I believe this is US Games. Yes, it is US Games. It's borderless. This deck also comes in a tin, slightly smaller and in a tin, which I intend to buy because I'd like to have this as a carry around in your purse, throw in your bag. I love the Eight of Swords here. But yes, this, you can totally get out of this deck what you can get out of the traditional RWS, and a great beginner deck. And it does come with a very, very tiny little white book, just basic meanings. So that's why, you know, I say, well, you can use this with a Learn the Tarot book, but chances are the tarot book is going to have the RWS imagery, but still, everything you can get off the RWS, you can get out of this deck while you're learning. So that's the Morgan Greer Tarot, easily available on Amazon, probably some of your metaphysical shops. I haven't seen it at my local Barnes & Noble, but you can get it online there. So it's a very accessible deck to get. So we're going to move that. Another one, moving right along, is the Hanson Roberts deck. I love this deck because I have small hands, and you can see how it just fits perfectly. Again, this is an older deck. It's not a newer deck. It does come with a teeny tiny little white book with just basic meanings, and it's, you know, just a regular non-special tuck box. Now, some people say that the figures are kind of funny and cabbage patchy, and it's true. Oh, here are the beautiful backs. I love these backings, but I just love the size of this one. And again, it has the traditional symbology of the RWS. It's funny, this magician, you know, he's very brawny, six-pack abs, and you look at his little short arms. That's what, you know, proportion is kind of a thing with this deck, and another deck I'm going to show you. But it does have other languages in the meanings. That's another reason why people might not like this, but I think it's a great beginner deck. Is this, I don't believe this is, no, it's a US Games deck. It's not Los Scarabeo, so. Again, like the Morgan Greer, it's basically up in your face. It doesn't seem quite that way because it's a smaller deck, but it is. The imagery is closer to you than set apart. I think that's a beautiful strength card, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, Justice. Nice. I love the coloring in this. Kind of muted, and except for this one. I love that star card. It's so beautiful. Here we go with the Cabbage Patch Baby and kind of a Cabbage Patch face for the sun. But I think this is a great beginner deck. And I think there is a book. learning tarot with the Hanson Roberts imagery. I knew it used to come in a set with a book, not just a little white book. And actually, there's one for $50 in one of my local half-price books. And you know, I'm going, I already have the deck. I don't need the set. I don't need the set with the chunkier book, but there you go, Hanson Roberts. Great for beginners. What else do I have on my list? Oh, okay. This is the Anna K Tarot, which I love. And again, I think the imagery, the artwork is kind of similar to the Hanson Roberts as far as the people. People complain that they don't like this deck because of the Cabbage Patch-like figures with some of the faces or the expression. This comes with a nice guidebook. Now this is the independent version that you get from her website, but there is a cheaper version. There's the creator, and Anna Klaffinger. From Austria. So you do get this. This came from Germany when I ordered it, and it's in a 2-part box. And you can see it's, I love, again, the size is perfect for my small hands. And you see what I mean about the little Cabbage Patch. Let me get in on that. Little Cabbage Patch faces. Some people don't like it. I love this deck because of the expressiveness of the faces and the colors. It's got very thin borders, which is nice. Now there is a mass market version of this deck. You can easily get from Amazon for half the price, $19.99 I believe it's going for now. But it comes in a big, chunky, tall box. It comes with a very nice guidebook that is this way, horizontal and not vertical, this way. I believe it has color pictures in it. And the cards are a lot bigger. They're flimsier, you know, cardstock. This is nice rose petally cardstock. And the other ones have black borders, thicker black borders, but they are bigger. But I am thinking about getting that version because this one is precious to me. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful deck, and everything you can get everything from this deck that you can get from the RWS. So again, if the RWS, and this is like one of my favorite 8 of Swords cards, anything you can get off of that deck, you can get off of this deck. Because it does have a guidebook, and it's pretty much a clone for the most part. The imagery doesn't diverge too much, you know, as far, you know, you can look at the picture and you say, oh yeah, I know what that is. You know, if you're familiar with the RWS system. But this one would be a great one to learn with. Don't get me wrong. All right, next we have the Everyday Tarot by Bridget Esselmont. And I don't know if it has who the artist is. And Bridget Esselmont, better known as Biddy Tarot. I will say this is readily available on Amazon. You can find it at a half-price books, metaphysical shop. But the only thing I hate is kind of initially hard when you get this to open this top part. It's clear plastic. It's kind of a pain. But you get this little cute little book right here. It doesn't have pictures, but you get very good meanings, upright and reversed. And the book stays, you know, you can slide it in and out of this. Well, let's get the cards out. It's got a little foam backing in there for protection. But what I love the coloring. And again, small, very portable. it's just minimal with the gold, the purple, and the white. Minimal coloring. I mean, I think it's those 3 colors. And those are the backs. But this is a wonderful deck. She has her Everyday Tarot book that is, she has several books. I have her Everyday Tarot book, but she also has tarot card meanings, which would be wonderful to use in conjunction with this deck. All of those things are available readily on Amazon. And she also has her new 2020 Tarot Journal, which would be a good thing to work with this deck if you're starting out with tarot. Yeah, she's got a lot of learning resources on her website, but you do have to be a member, a paying member, to access those things. But this is a wonderful little beginning deck. You know, if you're drawn to minimalistic art, this is it. And the edges have a beautiful kind of antique gold. And this deck, I got it for $9. It retail price is $12.95 in the US, $16.50 in Canada, but off Amazon I think I paid $9 for this. And it's a really sweet little deck. And again, it's pretty much a RWS clone. So if you choose this to be your first deck, you can't go wrong. You really can't. Just get a good tarot book, and even if you're looking at a book with the RWS pictures, you'll be able to get the meanings. You'll be able to correlate. Now, getting it back in the box is kind of a little chore. The only thing, the thing I don't like, I love the portableness, the squareness of this little box, but this little plastic thing, But that is the Everyday Tarot deck, and it's wonderful. I love this deck. Okay, what do I have next on my list? I do have a list. And I kind of went out of order. But, this is a great one. The Spirit Within Tarot by Stephen Bright. And it's by Red Feather. It's kind of a glossy box, but it is a magnetic closure box. So a little upscale. And there is the picture of the creator. And this is a very, very minimalistic deck. It comes with a wonderful little chunky book with small pictures, and they are colored. He has some keywords, basic meanings, no reversal meanings in this book, but it's a great little book that, for a mass market deck. Now you can get this also on Amazon quite easily, and it's, about in the $20 range. So there is the Fool. Now this is quite glossy cardstock. These are the backs, which I think are super cool. Now this deck is all in silhouette. So it's very, very, I would say, inclusive, while, having the art depicted this way. And it's a modern deck. So if you're not jiving with the medieval, kind of artwork, this is a great deck. A great beginning deck. Great beginning modern deck, if that appeals to you. The colors are beautiful. But yes, it is quite glossy, so if you're not into glossy decks, But I don't really like gloss, but as you can see, I did get that Lo Scarabeo RWS deck, and this one, I saw it on several channels, and I had to have it. And this image is on the RWS Devil card, the child. Well, actually, no. The child is in the death card. Don't listen to what I say. The Tower card, the Star, the Moon. So very minimalistic. I really like the trumpet, this trumpet player. My son plays trumpet. But again, this is a great deck if you like the modern aesthetic, and maybe you're a younger person and you just don't really, you know, you're not feeling it with the medieval imagery. This is a wonderful deck to get. And even with the silhouettes, you can tell there's some diversity in here. So that is The Spirit Within Tarot by Stephen Bright. I believe he's British. Yes. And it is a wonderful, wonderful beginning deck. Especially, you know, if you're looking for a beginner deck with a modern aesthetic, this would definitely be a go-to. All right, moving on, and we don't have very much. A few more left, a couple more left, 3 more left, I believe. Okay, so I'm going to move on from The Spirit Within to, and this one isn't very old, and it's a new favorite with a lot of people in the tarot community, the Modern Witch Tarot deck. Now, this is an RWS clone. If you like lots of imagery, this has all, I believe, all of the symbolism of the traditional RWS deck, but in modern form. It's got this beautiful, it's a little white book, but it's a little blue book, but it's hardcover. It's not soft, and it's a nice blue. It's by U.S., is it by U.S. names? No, Sterling Ethos, New York. But this just came out this past year. It's by Lisa Sturley. It goes a little bit over the tarot, and this is what you get. You get a picture, and you get some meaning. I don't believe it goes into reversals. But let's see what it goes. Okay, with the minor arcana, you don't get a picture. It skimps a little bit, and there's a little less writing for those. But still, a wonderful little white book, little blue book. Now, I believe this deck started from the creator with the creation of this. So this picture, this artwork, everything is fine. It's a wonder. I just love this. She's, you know, on her cell phone, 10 of Swords, everything is fine card. It's a great addition to this deck. But this is a modern iteration of the RWS. So again, if you're looking for the modern aesthetic, this has been a hit. Oh, look at these beautiful backings in the tarot community. The Magician is a woman. It's a very diverse deck. The High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor. Very inclusive and traditional at the same time. It has, you know, the Sphinxes and the Chariot, the woman and the lion. The Hermit is a woman in this deck. And it's just wonderful. It's, a little bit glossy. The cardstock is nice. It's a little bit stiff, so it does, if you're a riffle shuffler, you will need to work it in. Again, see, traditional imagery with a modern aesthetic. And again, nice, diverse. Now, the other deck that I would say, which I don't have, that would correspond with this, it's in very much the same vein, is the This Might Hurt Tarot deck. It was an indie deck, and right now you can pre-order it for the second print run. I think I might get that. The colors are a little more muted, and again, it has a modern aesthetic, but it's also the imagery. It's similar but different, if that makes sense. Again, you're going to find this 4-wand setup like this in the RWS, but instead of like castle walls, there's a city. So very, very diverse deck. And this is a deck you could definitely start learning tarot with, because this imagery is just like traditional RWS with modern clothes and modern people in it, but everything else is traditional. And it's it would be a great deck. Again, if the medieval art ain't your thing, definitely pick this up. You can pick this up. I picked mine up at Barnes & Noble. You can get it off of Amazon. It's by one thing to be careful with, these boxes. Liminal 11. Put the top back on. It's nice, heavy cardboard, but it does slide out. It does, see how that slides out easily, so be careful if you get this deck. All right, and I think I'm at my last deck. And this one I haven't had too long, but you see this nice little, this deck comes with this nice pouch. It's Madame Clara Sees All, and you can get it off of Etsy, off, what is it, Motel Gift Shop, I think is the shop. But there is the box, Madame Clara, Fate, Destiny, Fortune, 78 Tarot deck, Mysteries of Tarot. Ask Madame Clara a question. Mine came a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, a little bit squashed. The tuck box, you know, I don't know how long this is going to last. It's very thin, very, very flimsy, very, very flimsy, but it is so cool. Look at that. This one also has wonderful backs. I believe this is a 310 GSM. The thing that's unique about this deck is that the back is glossy and the front is a linen finish, linen textured. And why I say these are, a lot of these images, and some of these are going to be reversed, but and the reason why they're reversed is because I'm using this deck to start reading with reversals to see if I like that. Hence, you know, I haven't been reading with reversals because I feel that you can generally get, depending on the placements of a spread, the situation, you can get which meaning reversed or upright it is. But, you know, I'm wanting to learn everything, so I'm experimenting. So I'm using this deck this month as my card pull of the day, and I've made it so I could get some reversals. But this is the Queen of Wands, and the writing is very small, so I have to use my glasses. And it says, for the upright, take action with courage while your energy is fierce. And if you get a reversal, it says, a shrinking violet loses confidence that only belief can restore. So that's why I got this deck. And the images are quite wonderful. The Knight of Wands. They're kind of classical statues. I just love it. It's like collage art. But you can use this if you're a beginner, because you've got, instead of having to go, there's no little white book, no book of any kind that comes with this. But you can, if you've been working, reading a book, have the general gist down of the meanings, you could use this deck because it has some prompts here for reversed or reversed or upright meanings. And it is classical imagery right here. And this would be a go-to if you want something traditional, but maybe still, again, don't jive with the RWS. No, a lot of people don't. It comes gold edging, and for an indie deck, this is pretty inexpensive one. This one was only like $34. So for an indie deck, very accessible, very, I love this Judgment card. A rebirth awakens inner calling with a higher purpose. And if you go reversed, tuned to take a good look and reflect and learn lessons from the past. This is a wonderful one. I just love it. And yeah, it's my daily card pull deck for this month. And like I said, it's got this nice, delicious linen texture on the front and then the glossy backs. So it's a very unique deck, and I'm so glad I have it in my collection. It's a fairly new addition, and very reasonable for an indie deck. So I got it off of Etsy. Madame Clara Sees All, and I believe the shop is called the Motel Gift Shop, but just put Madame Clara Sees All and you will find it. And you do get the wonderful, there's no little white book, no book of any kind, but you do get this beautiful little satiny embossed tarot bag. So that is it. Those are my suggestions of what I have for beginners to start their tarot journey with. You know, other people may have other decks. I don't have every deck in the universe, so that is what I have that I would suggest for beginners. My next video is going to be decks that are like beginner 2.0 or 1.2. Kind of beginner decks or verging onto the intermediate, meaning they do have some, it's different imagery. They are kind of clonish to the RWS. Some are not. Some have very modern imagery, but it would be the next step up. So look out for that for my next video. And if you got any value from this video, I'm a very new channel. I would really appreciate a like, a subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you who have subscribed and you take time out of your busy day to watch this, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So I will see you soon with the next video in this series. So have a beautiful day.